Okay, so my name is Zakia. I'm a health educator. My background is human biology. So I started off as a science teacher. I've been living out here in the UAE for 8 years now. Most of the time that I've been here, I've been teaching health science. And on the side, what I started was helping people to find their root causes before I went full time with it about 2 years ago. And the whole reason why I got into this space was because of my own health problems in the past. So going back about 10 years, I started having some random symptoms. It started with insomnia, fatigue, tremors, muscle contraction, just random muscle movements that I had no control over, incoordination, thyroid imbalances, and I went to so many different doctors and they all told me I was fine because my lab test came back normal. And but I was just getting worse and worse. My symptoms just kept worsening. I could not sleep at all. I think I went like 6 days with no sleep.
Wow.
There was that one stretch, I remember 6 days with virtually no sleep. And I was still having to work, but I was almost non-functional at that time. And I just couldn't take the answers from the doctors that I was actually fine and that maybe it was in my head. I found that quite insulting because it was physical. It was physical symptoms I was having. So that started me on my journey to researching and learning. And the turning point would be when I found a Facebook group about heavy metal toxicity, in particular from metal teeth fillings. So at that point, I had 7 amalgam mercury metal teeth fillings in my mouth. Now, mercury is one of the most toxic substances on earth, and dentists were putting this in our mouths next to our brains. And what people don't realize is that they're not safe. They do release vapor. Every time you drink something hot, every time you chew on them, they release some mercury vapor and you swallow it, you breathe it in, it ends up in your bloodstream, it's in your gut, and it damages all aspects of health. And it will start with these random symptoms like what I was having, chronic fatigue, insomnia. I didn't connect that to my teeth, but that's what it was. I had literally been poisoned by mercury from my childhood. Actually, we can go back even further than that because my mum had a mouthful of amalgam teeth fillings while she was pregnant with me. So that was the first exposure. And then I had my own fillings. And so it was from childhood up until my 20s, I was still having them put in the UK. Because those were the standard metal fillings that were being used, as they were cheaper and they lasted longer than the white ones, right? So I found out that my root cause was heavy metal toxicity. So then I had my fillings removed and I detoxed. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I did some incorrect methods of detoxing. And that actually made things worse for a while before I found the safe way to do it, especially for that level of toxicity and for mercury, which is so toxic. There are ways that are unsafe and there are ways that are effective and safe. So then for the first time in years, my health started to improve, and that was with no help of a doctor or medicine. So then I found myself living in moldy homes. I had to move out of mold twice, and that also affected my health really badly as well. At that time, I had the insomnia came back, the fatigue came back, vertigo. And then actually at that time, I also started having the signs of multiple sclerosis. So I was seeing a lot of different doctors, and I had a brain MRI which showed that I was normal, but I was having the signs. What happened was when I moved out of the moldy home, the symptoms just disappeared. And then I had to, of course, take some antifungals to clear out the mold from my body and take some binders and a whole bunch of other supplements. And I healed that as well. And then the other thing that happened was I had a really bad round of food poisoning, which gave me small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This was completely new to me. This was fairly recent, like 3 years ago. And what I found then afterwards is a lot of my clients also have SIBO and they don't know it. And doctors will label it as IBS and tell you that you have it for life. And I say IBS stands for, I don't know if I can say this, it's bullshit. Because it's just a label for a bunch of symptoms, but it doesn't really give you the answer as to what caused them. Yeah, I know I have IBS. Yeah, my bowel is irritated, clearly. It's IBS, but what caused it? It's bacterial overgrowth in most cases. Sometimes it's fungal overgrowth as well in the small intestine, which can happen as a result of mold exposure, as well as parasites, which everybody has. We need to be clearing them out once a year. But having SIBO taught me a lot about gut health, and that chronic bloating is something that a lot of my clients suffer from. And when we do the health screen with them, we find that it's SIBO, and it's fixable. Doctors won't tell you that, but it's fixable with the right protocol. So that's how I got into this whole space. It was my own health problems. And now I just really want people to find their root causes, because that is always step one to healing. If you don't know what your causes are, it's very hard to make health progress.
Thank you for sharing. And this goes back, as you said, a long way back, right to before you was given birth, your mother was giving birth to you. You made mention just briefly of how people may have this, but unbeknown to them, because it's perhaps seen as quite normal amongst them, their friends, and also, as you quite rightly put, their doctors not really helping them in any way, shape or form. I just want to take a step back, because you did start to share the challenges that you had, and it was close to 8-10 more years of having these symptoms. But I think it might have been the sleep, the insomnia that really triggered you, and also your question mark over the doctor's advice, because even though he kept saying nothing's wrong, but you didn't feel exactly right at all. So was there an actual turning point, if somebody is listening to this, where you realized that these wasn't random symptoms despite what the doctor was saying, and it was connected to, like you mentioned, mold, heavy metals, SIBO?
Yeah, I mean, the turning point was Facebook. And I say this to people. I actually say Facebook saved my life.
Okay.
Like, if I didn't find that Facebook group about teeth fillings and mercury toxicity, I don't think I'd be here doing this. I'd be at least bedridden.
Yes.
Because I was almost there 10 years ago. So,
And in being part of that Facebook group, it must have really stood out to you, because you've explored every possible thing. And
I found the answers. That was the thing. I finally found the answer that I was so desperately searching for, because I couldn't give up. I had young children. I couldn't just take it that it's in my head and I have to just suffer for the rest of my life. No, couldn't give up.
That's also an interesting perspective. You mentioned how your mother may have helped cause these symptoms, but then you have children, as you just mentioned, and then I wonder how you're thinking. Are you relating this to them? And I'm assuming you're, of course, taking care of them.
Sure, and I saw symptoms. I saw symptoms in them as well. So I've detoxed them too. I've put them on heavy metal detoxes, and of course mold, because they were living in the mold in the apartment and the villa as well. There's 2 times we had to move out of moldy homes. A big problem. It's actually the number 1 root cause that I find in health screening.
Perhaps in the more hotter climate countries as well, would you say? Or is that
because of the AC.
Okay.
AC is usually where the mold is hiding.
Yes. I can't wait to get into the weeds with all the detoxing and what you do to help yourself. So talking of detox, I'm sure you're familiar with this and surrounded by it and inundated with this, I would imagine. Detox, people often see this as just some type of juice cleanse, detox teas, perhaps a short supplement protocol. But based on your experience, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about detox, and what does a real effective detox actually involve?
Yeah, people definitely don't know what this word detox means. And when people ask me, how do I detox? I ask them, what are you trying to detox? Where did it come from? How long has it been in your body? Where might it be stored in your body? Okay. Because the answers to those questions depend on, we're going to determine how you're going to detox based on those answers. So, for example, for me, it was a high level of heavy metals. It was mercury in particular. It was stored deeply into the cells, into my brain, into the fatty tissues, because it's from years and years ago. So that is going to be a very long process of detoxing. And taking chlorella and coriander is not going to cut it. It's not going to do anything. That won't even touch the surface. That might help for someone who is just mitigating against day-to-day toxin exposures like pollution and what's in circulation on a day-to-day basis. That's okay. But to go deeper, it really depends on each person's toxin load and where it's being stored and how long it's been there as well.
What can someone come to expect? Because even when I just cut out caffeine, if you want to classify that as a detox of some sort, even that's a challenge. Those clientele and patients that you alluded to, that is really deep, it's been around for many years, I would imagine that it's not nice to begin with, for sure. How do you empathize and handle those types?
So the first step is always the core supplements. I call them the core supplements. So there must be some supplements in place before we even think about starting the detox protocol. So that would be things like vitamin C, magnesium, B complex, zinc, vitamin A, E, omega-3. Depending on each person, there's a slightly different bunch of core supplements. They have to be in place for at least a month whilst working on drainage pathways.
Okay.
If the drainage pathways are not functioning, forget about detoxing.
We need to make sure. And those that perhaps don't understand, do you mind just sharing a little bit about that?
So the drainage pathways will be the bowel movements, kidney functions, hydration, lymphatic system, bile flow, liver support. All of these are involved in detoxing the body naturally. So we have to make sure they are working first before we can even start moving toxins around the body. Because what happens is, say for example, a person is constipated, they're not detoxing well. And if we go and use a chelator, which is a compound that mobilizes and binds to toxins, or a binder, which will we be using for mold toxins to do the same thing. If we go and add those things, we start stirring toxins, that person isn't going to the toilet every day, we're going to cause some side effects. There's going to be redistribution and reabsorption of toxins, which can make things worse. So drainage, we work on things. Say again?
Because you've excited them in some way.
We've stirred them. Because whenever you do a detox using binders and chelators, which is the right way to do the detox, we always have some redistribution because we start mobilizing toxins. Because that's what we want to do. We need to mobilize them, we need to pull them out. Once you start moving them, if they have nowhere to go, because you're backed up, or your lymph isn't moving, or your liver is congested, we are going to cause more problems. So step one is always drainage, core supplement, plus toxin avoidance. We have to make sure that we are avoiding toxins as much as possible. So there's a whole guide that I send to clients just for that, removing toxin exposures in the home, getting an air purifier, filtering your water, reverse osmosis water, cosmetics, cleaning products. If it's teeth fillings, having them removed first. So we do all of that work before we go on to the actual detoxing.
Wow. And I know that your protocols are very customized, but if you could, if somebody came to you with many of these symptoms, from what you've mentioned, do you identify one to target first, or do you combat them all in one go?
No, we can't combat them all because it's just way too stressful on the body. And it's really hard to organize because we're working with supplements, and sometimes a lot of supplements for each protocol. So it's just too much to do at once. So what I'll do is work on the most urgent, depending on the symptoms. So if I see there's a high toxin load, we'll work on the toxins. But I like to get the parasite cleanse done, over and done with first, to make space.
Okay.
Because sometimes keeping parasites is a block to detoxing because the parasites are holding on to toxins, they're storing toxins as well. So I like to get that over and done with to begin with, before even the mold, before even the heavy metals, just to make space. And it gives a better cleanse afterwards. And plus the parasite cleanse is much easier to do than the heavy metals and the mold. It's much quicker. It takes 2 to 3 weeks. We knock that out and then we move on to either the mold or the heavy metals.
Okay, and I'm sure you've seen many patients, clients. How severe does one become when they're detoxing? Is it debilitating? Does it allow them, are they able to still work? Would you recommend having time off? Just to paint a picture of what one could expect.
We want to make it as comfortable as possible. Yeah, we don't want it to be too difficult on the body, so we do it slowly. And I tell everybody to start low dose before gradually increasing the dosages. And because we want them to be functional, we can expect some symptoms to get a little bit worse before they get better. It's a sign that the toxins are being mobilized. That can happen. But what we do is, when that happens, we increase the supportive supplements, the core supplements that I mentioned. We increase those in dosages. So let's say a person was taking vitamin C and magnesium once a day. I will tell them you can take it up to 4 times to support you throughout the process of the detox. You know, and that's how you use supplements therapeutically. So when you read the instructions on let's say a bottle of magnesium, it will say like, take it once a day, right? So that is for someone who is healthy and maintaining health. It's not for someone who's chronically unwell or going through a detox. So we use supplements therapeutically. And that's why people are using supplements incorrectly. They're not doing it properly. They're not getting the benefits. And they think that the supplement's not working. Well, it's just because they're not taking them properly for their body's needs.
Correct dose for them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do many tests to help your clients make more informed decisions, and then you can show them the results of what them symptoms might well be. One of the methods that you use is bioresonance, which I only can assume, just speaking from my own opinion, which many people are probably unfamiliar with. Could you explain what this is and how it fits into your process of identifying and addressing these root causes?
Sure. So everything has a vibration, right? Every cell has a vibration. Therefore, every organ has a vibration. And that vibration, that frequency is measurable. So we use bioresonance analysis to measure the frequencies of all the organs in a person. It captures that data and it compares it to the norm and looks for deviations from the norm. Now, those deviations are really specific patterns of changes. And let's take an example. If you have mold in you for a year or 2 years, it's going to impact your frequencies in a really particular pattern. So bioresonance finds that change that matches mold and then gives us a probability of which strains that person has of mold. Okay. Same thing for parasites, for toxins, anything that can change our frequency once it's been there for some time. It changes the frequencies in a really particular way. That is what bioresonance searches for and then matches it to the root cause. So it is, I say, the ultimate root cause health screen. It's the best place to start if you're searching for answers like I was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because you get a whole overview of your health. So toxins, pathogens, hormonal imbalances. I often see metabolic disorder, cortisol from stress, thyroid. Even if a person is going towards autoimmunity, they'll check the way the organs are functioning, if they're optimal or not. If there's fatty liver, gallbladder issues, all of this can be seen through bioresonance. And then from that, we can further investigate using lab works. Like, there's certain numbers I need to see on lab test results. I want to see the thyroid hormones, right? I want to see your cortisol saliva levels. So I work with conventional lab tests as well as the bioresonance. I ask lots of questions as well in the consultation, things that doctors aren't asking, like teeth fillings. Have you had any ever? Did your mom have teeth fillings? Have you had the COVID vaccine, for example, like the Pfizer in particular? I'm asking these questions. Have you lived in mold? Do you swim in chlorine? Are you using fluoride products? Have you had any surgeries? All of that, I put it together, not just bioresonance by itself, but it's a tool. And then I formulate a plan.
Nice. And this, for those that are unfamiliar, are you able just to paint a picture of what the bioresonance device is? It's invasive, I believe.
It's totally non-invasive. So there are clips that go on the wrists, on the ankles, and there's a headpiece. Yep. So there's 5 points of connection. You don't feel anything most of the time, except maybe a slight pulsing in the body. It's safe for anybody. And the only contraindication is anyone with a heart pacemaker or a pregnant lady, because, the results aren't going to be as accurate in that state. I've even tested babies. I actually have a lot of children being tested because their parents want to know why these children have asthma or eczema or allergies or learning difficulties even. I have autistic children coming to me as well for testing. And we often find vaccine reactions, heavy metals from vaccines. We find food additives. What else do we see? Gut imbalances, parasites. A lot of children with parasites. And all of these things impact, brain development and behavior. Yes. And mood, as well as other symptoms like on the skin.
Wow, fascinating. I'm just thinking of my daughter right now as we're talking about this. You work with the whole family. It makes sense, as you alluded to at the beginning of this conversation, of how it can be passed down, especially if the parent are coming to you for certain reasons, and then it only makes them think about their children. Okay. Thank you for sharing about the bioresonance. I believe you're the only practitioner that is able to consult with the bioresonance in Dubai.
There are other practitioners, and there are even a couple of doctors' clinics using bioresonance, but how mine is different is my knowledge, and because I've been through it. And I've seen that. I've compared myself to other bioresonance practitioners, and even my clients who've been to others have come to me afterwards because they want my help, they want my support, they want my protocol. So that's how we differ.
Okay. Before we go into the next question, you mentioned just prior to coming on live and recording this that you've got you've been busy designing your protocols, and if they're not ready, or if they're not available already, when will they be?
They are available now. I've just recently launched them, and I put a lot of work into them. It's like 10 years of me when I was desperately ill myself and trying everything on me, and I've taken the things that work and I've put them into protocols. I've organized it. So I've got ebooks on mold, heavy metals, parasite cleansing, drainage, optimization, H. pylori, and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So each book is really detailed, and it tells a person, there's no fluff, it's just the protocol. So you get the job done. It's all the supplements you need to do, organized step by step, exactly how to take them, duration, where to even get them from, and you're on your way to healing. And all levels of toxin loads are covered as well. So let's say you're going for the heavy metal detox, you might have low level, moderate level, or high level. It's all covered. All the methods are there. So yeah,
super exciting.
Super easy to use and self-explanatory, and yeah, just want to help as many people as possible.
And I think you're correct. I think the authenticity of someone who's gone through this themselves is really helpful for that individual, rather than going to the doctors you mentioned, who perhaps gives you surface level answers. Another device, infrared sauna, is one of the few modalities that you use consistently in your approach. Could you share what makes this such an effective tool, whether that's supporting detox, or how people should use this, and what should they not do, and what do people often do that might cause a setback? Are you able just to share your experience with utilizing the infrared sauna with patients, clients?
Sure. So infrared sauna is one of those things that helped me personally when I was going through mold illness as well as heavy metal toxicity. Like, it was so essential in both of those protocols, and it's something that I recommend to all of my clients, regardless of what their problem is, because everyone should be doing sauna regularly, just because of the amount of toxin exposures we have now compared to before. It's way more than ever before seen in humankind. So that's just essential for everyone to combat day-to-day toxin exposures. But as part of a protocol, so you want to start maybe once or twice a week, because often people with chronic illness, they have a lot of stress already on the body, physical stress, chemical stress, not just mental and emotional stress. So they have cortisol imbalance, they have adrenal fatigue. So we want to take it easy to begin with. We don't want to add another stress. But why infrared is better than normal sauna is because it's less stressful on the body. It takes less heat and it goes way deeper than traditional sauna. So why it's fantastic is it can actually reach into fatty tissues where toxins are often stored away, especially from years and years of chronic exposure like I had. So the fatty tissue has a high affinity for toxins like heavy metals and like mercury. So we want to release it from storage, put it back into circulation through the bloodstream and the lymphatic system, and then it can be packaged away by the liver into the bile and then into the bowel movements, and also we'll sweat it out when it's in circulation. So you get all of that happening with the infrared sauna.
Wow.
So it's fantastic, and it really does help. And then we can gradually increase to up to 6 times a week. Depending on the toxin load. Like for someone who has a high level of toxicity, they want to try and achieve 5 to 6 times a week without it being too uncomfortable.
And it also takes time out to themselves. They get alone time, I can imagine. So it helps in other ways.
Definitely, and I used to use that time to actually meditate as well.
Oh yes, meditate, probably some breath work.
Yeah.
I think you alluded to it slightly. Would people have side effects in the early stages, as you mentioned, because you acclimatize them from 1 to 2 times a week up to 6, 7? What's perhaps the worst side effect one can come to expect from utilizing infrared saunas?
Yeah, so when we redistribute toxins, there can be worsening of all the current symptoms. So we have to be careful with that. So why it's really important to go gradually and to each person's tolerance level. But also, before and after a sauna, you should be well hydrated, take electrolytes and binders. So binders, things like toxin pull. Toxin pull is a really good combination of different binder ingredients, which can help to trap that mobilized toxins during the process of sauna. So we take that before and after, or you can just use things like zeolite, charcoal, modified citrus pectin, or fulvic acid bentonite clay. These are all different types of binders that should be used during sauna use. And electrolytes, trace minerals, things like remite, which is a nice combination of trace minerals. Plus, there is a nice electrolyte by Health Snack, which also combines alpha lipoic acid, which is an antioxidant, and it's a chelator of heavy metals.
Okay, yes.
So that's a really good one to use during sauna use.
You mentioned before and after. Is there a particular time, or does it really, as long as they're within the...
Yeah, I would say straight before and then within half an hour afterwards. You want to make sure you're binding up those toxins that are in circulation.
Okay. Zakia, thank you very much. For those
Most welcome.
that would like to learn more and perhaps consult with you, where is the best place that they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at origin.healing, or you can head over to my website, which is originhealing.com.
Where all those new exciting protocols are going to be available.
They're all available, so if you go over to my website, you'll see the links for the protocols on there.
Thank you very much, Zakia.